500 years ago, a 14-year-old girl sat down on the top of a volcano and never stood up again. No violence, no struggle, no decay, just silence, cold, and time. When archaeologists finally uncovered her body in 1999, they thought she was asleep. Her skin, her hair, even her hands were so perfectly preserved that seasoned scientists hesitated to speak out loud, afraid they might wake her. This was not just a mummy. This was a moment of history frozen exactly as it happened. What you're about to hear is not a legend and not a myth. It's a real forensic investigation into one of the most haunting discoveries ever made in the Americas. A story that blends science, belief, power, and sacrifice in ways that still unsettle us today. If you enjoy deep history, real archaeology, and documentaries that actually change how you see the past, take a second right now to like this video. Share it with someone who loves history as much as you do, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into it. High in the Andes, on the frozen summit of Mount Llullaillaco, an expedition reached a place no human should reasonably survive. Over 22,000 feet above sea level, oxygen is cut in half, temperatures plunge far below freezing, and the wind never stops. It was here that archaeologists uncovered the highest tomb ever found on Earth. Wrapped in extraordinary textiles and buried with pristine artifacts, the body inside was unlike anything ever seen. When the wrappings were removed, the shock was immediate. Her face was intact, her hands were perfect, her expression was calm. This girl had been preserved not by human skill, but by altitude, cold, and time itself. She would later become known simply as the Maiden. The Maiden's preservation borders on the impossible. At extreme altitude, low oxygen slows bacterial growth. Constant sub-zero temperatures essentially freeze time. Unlike Egyptian mummies, no organs were removed, no chemicals used, no artificial preservation attempted. Nature did all the work. Today, she is kept at the Museum of High-Altitude Archaeology in a cryopreservation chamber colder than Antarctica. Curators rarely open it. When they do, every second matters. A full autopsy would have destroyed her, so scientists turned to CT scans. Inside her body there were no broken bones, no signs of trauma, no wounds. Her organs were intact. Her brain was still in place. Most unsettling of all, there was food in her stomach and waste in her bowels. She had eaten within hours of dying. That single detail ruled out exposure, starvation, and long illness. Whatever happened to her was sudden. Chemical analysis of her hair revealed something astonishing. About 3 months before her death, her diet changed dramatically. She began consuming maize and freeze-dried llama meat, foods, you know, that were associated with long-distance travel in the Inca world. Her hair was like a timeline, and it showed she had been walking toward her death for months. This wasn't an accident. It was a pilgrimage. Artifacts buried with her traced her origin back to Cusco, the heart of the Inca Empire. A ceremonial headdress, featherwork more valuable than gold, and elite textiles suggested status. She was not a common child. She was chosen. The Incas selected young girls, often between 6 and 15, to serve the sun god. Known as Virgins of the Sun, they lived in seclusion, trained in ritual duties, and were treated with immense honour. A rare few were selected for the highest role of all human offerings to the gods. To the Incas, this was not murder. It was immortality. The maiden was almost certainly one of them. Her hair contained high levels of coca leaf compounds and alcohol. Coca was sacred, not recreational. It reduced hunger, eased altitude sickness, and altered consciousness. Combined with chicha, a fermented corn beer, the effects would have been sedating, disorienting, even hallucinogenic. There was also a bulge in her cheek. Coca leaves, packed and chewed, just as Andean people still do today. She was being prepared. There were no signs of strangulation, no evidence of hypothermia, no frostbite, no struggle. Her tomb was undisturbed. Her hands were folded calmly. One detail stood out. A thick cloth had been wrapped tightly over her head. At 22,000 feet, with low oxygen, alcohol in her system, and coca dulling her senses, it wouldn't have taken long. Forensic experts concluded that gentle suffocation was the most likely cause of death. Not violent, not frantic, quiet. She likely lost consciousness quickly. The Incas believed that by offering a perfect child to the gods, balance would be maintained. Crops would grow, rains would come, the empire would endure. They believed she would live forever. In a way, they were right. 5 centuries later, her face still looks peaceful. Her story still stops people in their tracks. And her existence forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth about human belief systems, power, and the price paid by the young. The maiden is not just a mummy. She is a message from a world where faith outweighed life, where children could become gods, and where death was seen as transformation, not an end. If stories like this matter to you, if you believe history should be explored honestly and deeply, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, share this video with someone who appreciates real documentaries, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. These stories deserve to be remembered.